Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Porn Plot Reviews, the show where we analyze some of the most popular porn parodies ever made and evaluate them based solely on their story. That's right, that means no porn. God, I can't believe we're making more of these things. But you know what's more depressing than making porn reviews in your free time? Orphans! That's right, this time we're taking a look at 2010's Batman XXX, which is a parody of the 1960s Batman television series starring Adam West. The original series still has a lot of fans after all these years because of its campy humor, lighthearted tone, and timeless characters, and actually holds up pretty well. I'm honestly kind of relieved this parody is based on the 1960s Batman. Don't get me wrong, I love Nolan's Batman.
You are not speaking anything any human can understand. Am I crazy here?
But in the last decade, both live-action versions of Batman have been grouchy or broken. I mean, Jesus Christ. Christian Bale literally gets snapped in half and has to undergo physical therapy or some shit. It doesn't help that I have a personal beef with the other Batman either, but I digress. Call me old-fashioned, but I'm looking forward to a more lighthearted Batman in this version. 2020's already been a disaster, and I'm sure we could all use a less serious tone. Not to mention this whole year was started by a bat, so it fits. Get it? Batman? Bat soup? Okay, well, without further ado, let's slide into our tight latex suits, strap on our porn review utility belts, and grapple into this thing. Batman XXX begins with a trapped Lisa Carson, Bruce Wayne's fiancée, calling out to her unknown kidnapper.
Look, you don't have to hold me captive. My father is very wealthy, and my fiancé is Bruce Wayne. They'll pay whatever ransom you desire.
Suddenly the Riddler, aka Edward Nygma, appears, revealing himself to be Miss Carson's captor. Nygma makes it clear in the form of one of his famous riddles that he's not using her as a ploy to get money, but as a trap for Batman.
Silly girl. The kind of ransom I want your father cannot pay. Riddle me this, Miss Carson. When is cheese bad for a mouse?
When it's in a trap.
Exactly. And you, Miss Carson, are my cheese. And Batman is my big, fat rat.
Displeased with the condition of her cell, Miss Carson subtly implies that she would be willing to satisfy the Riddler if she was provided with a more comfortable stay.
Well, this bed looks awfully uncomfortable. Don't you have any better accommodations? I would be very appreciative.
Perhaps a softer mattress can be negotiated.
She then has sex with the Riddler mere minutes into her captivity. In the next scene, we find ourselves in Commissioner Gordon's office, where the Commissioner and Chief O'Hara await Batman's arrival. On a nearby table sits the Commissioner's red telephone, which he often uses to call the Caped Crusader in the show whenever there's a case the police can't handle. We see Batman, the Dark Knight himself, who's come to discuss Miss Carson's kidnapping. Along with him is his trusty sidekick Robin, who looks strangely familiar. I wonder where we've seen that actor before.
Now, hear me out. Instead of raiding that wall, we could stay here, and I could raid your wall.
Commissioner, Chief, how is Miss Carson? That cowardly puzzler. He better not harm a hair on her head.
I take it you and Bruce Wayne are acquainted.
Yes, Mr. Wayne has graced me with his friendship, and we've had meaningful conversations from time to time, but please, the stipulations on the ransom.
All assumptions as to what the Riddler might want go out the window when Commissioner Gordon tells them that Nygma has mysteriously issued no ransom.
Well, Batman, here's the thing. There is no ransom request.
No ransom? That's unprecedented.
While stumped at first as to what this could mean, the world's greatest detective quickly surmises what the Prince of Puzzle's real motive might be.
I think I might know what it is he's after. He wants us to come find him. What a dastardly twisted plot.
But Batman, that sounds like a trap.
Robin voices his concern, but as always, Batman has a plan, and knows where they might find the first piece to this puzzle.
Precisely, Robin, which is why we now have an advantage. I say we play along, but cautiously. I think I may have some information on the whereabouts of the Riddler. Quick, Robin, we haven't a moment to lose.
The duo dash out of the office, and are seen climbing on the side of a building in the next scene.
Holy glutinous maximus, Batman. This back climb is sure hard on the buttocks.
Careful, Robin. Both hands on the bat rope.
Sorry, Batman.
As always, Batman champions the importance of safety, urging Robin to climb responsibly. Just as our two heroes are about to continue their ascent, they are suddenly accosted by porn legend and porn plot review mascot Ron Jeremy.
Batman and Robin, what are you guys doing?
Holy hedgehog, Batman. Who is this?
Robin, this is Ron Jeremy. Without a doubt, the hardest working man in show business. Women seem to find him strangely irresistible.
Hey guys, why don't you take a break? Come have some fun inside. Can't handle all these girls by myself.
I've got 2 free hands.
As enticing as it might be to join Ron in his lustful pursuit, Batman isn't swayed from his mission, setting yet another good example for Robin.
Very tempting, but no thanks. Our pursuit of justice allows us very few diversions, but by all means, carry on with your business, citizen.
Gosh, Batman. That Ron Jeremy sure has excellent taste in girls.
That single statement indicates to me the first oncoming thrust of manhood, old chum. Wait for me on the roof. I'm gonna go inside. 2 masked crime fighters walking into a discotheque could draw some unwanted attention.
Inside the building, we are greeted with a party where people are dancing to music. Batman enters and surveys the nightclub. We see a woman across the room, seated at a bar. Her name is Molly, one of the Riddler's assistants. Molly watches Batman as he makes his way through the crowd, being recognized along the way. He walks up to the bar and orders a hero's drink.
A large grapefruit juice, please. Yes, sir.
And begins to make small talk with Molly, who immediately presents him with a riddle, foreshadowing where her allegiance lies from the start.
Are you looking for a friend?
I believe you could say that.
I have a question. How is a squabble like a bargain?
Very well. It's because it takes 2 to make it.
Like beautiful music? Shall we?
What is your name?
Molly.
Here you go, Batman. Freshly squeezed. Thank you.
Batman downs the libation, unaware that his drink has been spiked.
You entice me. I accept your invitation to dance.
The two dance for a moment, but Batman soon becomes dizzy as the drugs in his drink begin to kick in. Shortly after, Molly steers the Cape Crusader off the dance floor to have some fun somewhere else. Now there's a lot we can talk about here. For example, keen-eyed fans will recognize that this is nearly a shot-for-shot remake of a scene from the show, where Batman visits the same nightclub. Pretty much everything looks the same, from the general presentation of the club, the types of angles they use, as well as the music we hear. It also follows the same plot structure of the original scene, with characters even exchanging similar dialogue.
Why is a quarrel like a bargain?
Well, what master taught you to read?
The answer is it takes two to make it.
How is a squabble like a bargain?
Very well. It's because it takes two to make it.
Shortly after the club scene, a dismayed Robin returns to the Commissioner to alert him of Batman's disappearance.
Commissioner, Batman is gone.
What? Batman is gone?
Yes. I'm afraid he's been kidnapped by the Riddler.
Excuse me, Barbara. We have an emergency, dear. I'm going to have to call you back.
We get our first appearance of Barbara Gordon, who, unbeknownst to her father, happens to also fight in the Batman family as one of his sidekicks, Batgirl.
Oh, don't worry, Daddy. I understand. Love you.
Love you too, dear. A thought strikes me, so dreadful, I scarcely dare give it utterance. Could this be the end of Batman?
Worried about Batman, Batgirl decides that it's time to help her friends.
Holy transformation! 1 minute she's plain Barbara Gordon, librarian, and the next...
Looks like you boys can use some help.
Batgirl!
For heaven's sakes, Batgirl, we sure do need all the help we can get right now.
Commissioner, I believe I have an idea. If you want to catch a criminal, the best person to ask is...
Another criminal.
That's right, Robin. And I think I know where to find one. Follow me.
Once again, two of our heroes are scaling another building, this time to enter the secret lair of the Joker.
I used my bat scanner to pinpoint all the possible hideaways of the Joker. Something tells me he knows where we can find the Riddler.
Holy freefall, Batgirl. I got you.
Is that a batarang in your pocket, or you just happen to save me, Boy Wonder?
Make sure to have both hands on the rod. The rope. The rope. On the rope.
This is a cool callback to the advice Batman gives Robin earlier in the episode, showing us that Robin is working hard to be a better hero. At long last, we get to see Batman's arch nemesis, the Joker, who assures his goons that Batman and his captured fiancée will be joining them momentarily.
The Riddler will be arriving soon with the masked fool and the silly heiress.
If we pause here to take a closer look, we can see that the actor playing the Joker is sporting a mustache under his makeup. This is a clear homage to Cesar Romero's depiction of the Joker, who was known for doing the same thing throughout the show's run. At the same time, Batgirl and Robin find Joker and his crew. A wider angle gives us a better look at who's there. Not just the Joker, but Catwoman herself, a salacious villain with whom Batman shares a complicated past.
Holy conspiracy!
Me, the Joker, king of all super criminals.
Joker is already getting ahead of himself, announcing big plans for his world domination.
Gotham first, I think. Then... the world.
But Catwoman reminds him that she has plans for Batman and Robin of her own.
Curb your tongue, funny man. You and I, we have a deal.
But of course, my feline friend, you can have your way with the dynamic duo. Just before I destroy them.
Naturally, the Joker can't resist hitting on Catwoman while they wait.
While we're waiting for the Riddler to bring the Caped Crusader, perhaps we could warm up a bit.
Please, Joker. The mere thought perturbs me. Besides, I have a more infinitely fiendish plan in mind for them.
Very well. Have it your way. There is more than one way to skin a cat. Woman.
After his rejection, the Joker sends most of his crew away so that he can blow off some steam.
Now get out. I need to relax before the grand finale.
Would you like a massage, Joker? How about a full body rub down?
Both ideas sound smashing, actually. Oh, yes.
A delighted Batgirl watches in fascination as the Joker begins to have sex.
Cover your eyes, Batgirl. This lewd spectacle is not for a lady.
Don't be silly, Robin. It's hot.
Aroused by what she sees, Batgirl turns her attention to Robin.
Holy pop shot! The Riddler better bring Batman soon, or...
Or what? You gonna show me why they call you Boy Wonder?
Gee, Batgirl, when you put it that way.
The two heroes then have sex as well. However, as the sidekicks are distracted, the Joker's henchmen manage to surprise and ultimately capture them.
Very impressive, Boy Wonder. Looks like you let the bird out of the cage. Get him!
In the next scene, we see that the Joker is in a particularly good mood after his steam blowing, as he waits for the captives to arrive. In comes the Riddler. The villain pulls in a helpless Batman and his betrothed, who are bound together.
You're mad. Who better to complete your plan than the Prince of Puzzles, the King of Gondry, the Count of...
Despite the Riddler's jests, Batman hasn't lost hope.
Don't be foolish, Riddler. It'll be just a matter of time before my trusty sidekick figures out your dastardly plan and comes for our rescue.
Batman watches in horror as his last hope, Robin and Batgirl, are wheeled in by Catwoman.
Tisk, tisk, and another tisk. Batman.
You witch!
Oh. What? With all your travels, still haven't learned good manners? A real gentleman would kiss a lady's paw.
You are no lady. In fact, you...
Hush! Batman. I cannot tolerate a man with no breeding.
Enough of this child's play.
Catwoman's toying is put to an end as the Joker declares that it's finally time to kill the Bat.
This time, the joke's on you. Silly crime fighters.
What deviltry have you up to this time, Joker?
One zap from my very funny ray gun. And you're finny. Kaput. Defunct.
You won't get away with this so easy.
Even when staring death in the face, Batman takes the time to mentor Robin, perhaps for the last time.
Easily.
Easily.
Good grammar is very essential, Robin.
Thank you, Batman.
You're very welcome.
Wait a second, Joker. That was not the plan.
Then the plan was a joke.
Wait.
The Riddler suggests that they spare Miss Carson to collect her ransom, but the Joker makes it clear that he doesn't care about the money.
The rich lady should bring a fine ransom. She'll bring lots of money.
Who cares about a few dollars when you can finally be rid of the masked menace? Wait. Kill him first. I always hated that little fucker.
The Joker drops the first F-bomb of the film, immediately raising it to a PG-13 rating, disregarding the graphic sex scenes, of course. Just as the Joker is about to kill our heroes, Catwoman, who harbors feelings for Batman in her own twisted way, decides to free him, giving the duo a fighting chance.
Just remember, you owe me one.
Riddle me this.
A battle breaks out, where Batman and Robin take on the outlaws.
Holy glass job, Batman.
The tables have turned as Joker and the Riddler have been defeated by our heroes once again, and are presumably headed to Arkham Asylum for their crimes.
You can bring these nefarious criminals to justice, Batgirl. We will personally deal with our feline villainous.
Thank you, Batman. You are a remarkable man.
Oh, it was nothing. Nothing at all. In fact, I hear your fiancé, Mr. Wayne, was quite the remarkable man himself.
He is a remarkable man. You two have a lot of similar qualities. Thank you. Thank you.
After the dust has settled, Batman turns his attention to Catwoman. He admits that she should be locked up for her crimes, yet thanks her nonetheless in the part she played in their escape. Bruce wants to show his gratitude for what she did, but struggles to think of a way to return the favor while remaining true to himself.
Now it's your turn, Catwoman. Our duty as duly deputized officers of the law is to put you behind bars. Nonetheless, your gesture shows to me there is some good strand left in your moral fiber. But we are indeed indebted to her, Robin. She did save our lives. We should show leniency, but without compromising our moral principles.
Holy dilemma, Batman. What are we to do?
I think I have the perfect solution.
Well, we must give credit where credit is due, Robin. She may be evil, but she is quite attractive.
For once, Batman fails to satiate his prodigious sexual appetite, and after considering Catwoman's proposal, decides that having sex with her would be in line with his moral code.
Holy threesome, Batman?
Indeed.
The boy Wonder is so eager to fornicate with Catwoman that his speed briefly creates a tear in time and space itself. After the Batsum, a clear-minded Batman reminds Catwoman that he still intends to lock her up for her crimes.
That was very, very pleasing, Catwoman, but it is time to go.
Of course, Batman, but give me a minute to freshen up. You wouldn't want the prison ward to see me all covered in your bat-cum, would you?
Robin, she has a point, but do it in a timely manner.
Of course.
Catwoman uses her unsightly condition as a ruse to walk away from our two heroes and traps them, leaving this episode of Batman XXX on the ultimate cliffhanger.
Well, you know what they say. Cats have 9 lives. Well, I hope bats have at least 2.
Can this be it for the dynamic duo? Learn the agonizing answer. Don't miss the next episode. Same Bat Triple X time, same Bat Triple X channel.
Is it over? It's over. Okay. Well guys, another day wasted, another porn parody finished. Alright, let's break this thing down. So this parody seems to be loosely based on the first episode in the Batman TV show called Hi Diddle Riddle, where the Riddler tricks Batman into attacking him in some sort of staged robbery. Long story short, Batman tries to arrest him, some lawyers show up, and the Riddler sues our hero for false arrest. Wow, that shit sounds real dastardly, I know. But Batman XXX doesn't really follow this narrative at all, and is really telling its own story. However, one or two of the major scenes from High Diddle Riddle make an appearance here, primarily the bar scene, which I mentioned before. As a porn parody, I think Batman XXX's plot is pretty refreshing, because it makes the effort to tell a contained story in its runtime, unlike, say, Game of Bones, which didn't really have a narrative throughline. The decision to add in more villains was also a good call, because as fun as the Riddler is, I think adding more enemies for Batman to fight raises the stakes, and gives us those characters we want to see like Catwoman or Joker. The only critique I really have here though is that if you haven't seen High Diddle Riddle, some of these scenes might be a little confusing, like the bar scene, because you don't really understand who Molly is or that she works for the Riddler if you haven't seen that episode. You also don't necessarily realize Batman has been drugged without watching it, and I had trouble figuring out how he got kidnapped my first time around, which is why I felt like I had to explain that stuff during the review. Acting wise, I gotta say, some of the actors here really bring their A game. Dale DeBone, who plays Batman, captures Adam West's mannerisms pretty darn well, and acts and sounds just like the guy. And holy shit, the Riddler played by Evan Stone just doesn't hold back. He's actually tough to tell apart from the OG Riddler at times. But I could really say this about everyone here. Special shout out to Robin, Catwoman, and Joker too. There's also an original score to be heard here, which sounds like it's straight from the show. When things are tense, the music is tense. When our heroes are triumphant, we get some kind of victory theme. You get the gist. We also get a parody version of the OG intro with a cartoony art style to match, which is a little more, sexual than the original, but still holds up pretty well. They've got the little transitions here with the bat jingle. We also get those cool sound effect bubbles when Batman fights. Oh, and the end titles match. I had no clue what the end text meant until I actually watched an episode of the show. When they say same XXX time, same XXX channel or whatever, they're paying homage to the text we see at the end of the episodes from the TV series, which would tell people where and when they could watch the next episode. Next, with sets, most of these are perfectly serviceable with some really nice recreations of the original scenes from the show, like Commissioner Gordon's office. Of course, the bar scene gets another shout out because it was definitely the most impressive. Apart from all the stages or sets being filmed from, one angle, as is the norm for porn parodies, I guess, I can't complain. The hero costumes look just as good as the sets, if not better. Sure, the original outfits wouldn't necessarily be the most difficult to replicate, but they don't look cheap here and really sell the characters. I did like that instead of the Batman or Robin logo, they have an XXX logo on the Batsuit and an X for Robin, which gives the iconic outfits a fresh new spin. I have to say that after watching this parody, you also realize that the campiness from the TV series actually lends itself to the porn genre really well, so much so that it's hard to tell the parody apart from the show when it's at its best. Props all around to the Batman XXX team. You managed to impress some loser on the internet. Before I rate this thing, I have some big news for you guys. I'm excited to announce that Porn Plot Reviews has a new metric that's going to help us determine the final score for this porn parody and porn parodies moving forward. Let me present you with the Porn vs. Plot chart, or as I like to call it, the PP chart. Using the PP chart, we're going to factor in the length of the entire porn parody while comparing how much of the movie is pornography and how much of it is plot. The general idea here is that if a porn parody has an unusually short plot, I might decide to lower its final score, and vice versa. This might be the worst metric in history, I know, but hey, these reviews can't get any worse, right? So let's plug this thing into my trusty porn plot machine. Wow, isn't that fascinating? So, out of Batman XXX's 1 hour and 53 minute runtime, around 82.5% of it is porn, and 17.5% of it is devoted to its plot. At face value, that plot percentage doesn't seem bad to me, but I still think this data is kind of hard to break down without anything to compare it to, right? I say we bring in our old friend Game of Bones to give this some more context. Alright, here we see that Game of Bones actually has a shorter plot at 15% and slightly more porn at 85%. We should make sure to note that these two movies had very similar runtimes. With that in mind, I suppose Batman XXX is right where it should be plot-wise. Not necessarily too long or too short, because I thought its runtime felt just right. So it's certainly not going to lose any points here for that. Although it's a little early to tell, we could say that a healthy percentage for porn plot lingers in the 15 to 20% range. But as they say, 2 is a coincidence and 3 is a pattern, so we'll simply have to wait until we do more of these things to get a better idea. Now, keeping everything we've just discussed in mind, it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. I know some of you have notified me that I might have gone a little too easy on Game of Bones, and maybe I did, but you have to admit it was one hell of a start for this series. I can safely say that I'll definitely be harsher on these parodies going forward, but movies like this one make it tough, because I believe that Batman XXX deserves a solid 9 out of 10. I think this is an exceptional piece of porn parody filmmaking, and has more than earned this score after what I've seen here today. I know Axel Braun, the director, is a prominent figure in the porn industry, and now I understand why. The attention to detail and countless homages to the show are really impressive, and Mr. Braun should be commended for the work he's accomplished with this film. But that's it for this edition of Porn Plot Reviews. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in another episode of PPR.